What's good? What's good? How are you guys doing today? What's goody? What's goody? Who do we got up in here already, bro? What have you guys been doing today? Oh man, my morning has been it's been full of Candace Owens and Andrew Wilson. Oh my goodness, this was what's up, Kyle Finnegan? What's good, bro? This what's up, Anna Ray? This little debate thing that's been going down up on YouTube between Candace Owens and Andrew Wilson is quite crazy. Have any of you guys watched it? Did any of you guys start to watch it? Just let me know up in the chat if you watched any of it. Let me know who's on up in here. We've got Kyle Finnegan. We've got nobody on Twitch yet. We got Anna Ray, Kate Cleo, Lady Epionin. What's up? We're here. You guys, I'm sorry. Last night I was supposed to do a sub-only kick stream. And if I'm being honest with you, it didn't intend for me not to do that. The way that the day went on, my kids going to sleep over somewhere just fell into my lap, and I haven't taken my wife on a date in months and months and months. And so I took that opportunity, honestly, to take her out on a date and to spend some time with her. So if you were one of those individuals that didn't realize that I had posted in the Discord that I wasn't going to be streaming last night and you were waiting for me, I apologize, bro. I watched up until pretty much right before I just clicked go live, and I'll just say Andrew Wilson looks like a fool. That's just my personal opinion. I can't really speak too much more about it, but Andrew Wilson looks like a fool. Let me see here. We've got all the streams going. Let's see here. Okay. We got them all going. What's up? We're live on Kick. We're live on Twitch. We are also live on Facebook, and we are live on YouTube. How is today going? Sorry, that was that was for a Instagram reel to get people to come over to YouTube, bruh. What's up? Thank you. Hey, Trippy Panda, what's up? Let me show you your shirt. I'm going to send it out today. Dr. Astro Strange is up in the house. What's up? Bro, check this out, Trippy Panda. I think this one looks even sicker, bro. Bro, that's cold, bro. That shit is cold, bro. I'm sorry that you're struggling, Manda. I love you. I wish the best for you. I wish I could help. I wish I could send all this love energy towards you. Yeah, that's pretty sick, huh? Fucking super dope. Fucking super dope, dude. Hell yeah. Tripoverdrip.shop if you want to grab one for yourself. Here's the other one right here. I actually got, let's see here. There's been 3 more I have to send out. So I got this one. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. And then there was the same one that I'm sending out. Oh, yeah. And then there's like another one that was purchased that I'm sending out. There was some tie-dyes that were given away on one of my last streams last week. Here is the cool little tote bag that Rhodes won that I'll be giving to him when He comes through Utah. But yeah, how are you guys doing today? What's going down? What's going down? Cobra Kai's up in the house. Oh yeah, Cobra. I don't want to give your address away, but here's your package right here. I'm about to send yours out, Alan. About to send apple juices out. You know what I'm saying? Hell yeah. No, I'm pretty sure that's the shirt your husband bought you, Amanda. Pretty sure that your Trippy Panda Mama is Lawrence's wife, correct? Yeah, he already bought that shirt for you. Oh, the bag. Oh, okay. But yeah, Alan, your shirt will be sent out. Everything will be sent out before the weekend is up. Everything that is been purchased and been bought and everything that's been won. We do. Do we need to do a meditation at the end of today's stream? If you guys are down for a meditation at the end of today's stream, I think I'm super down, bro. I think I need a breath work. Do you know what I'm saying? All right, guys. There's probably there's probably everybody who's in here is probably is the people who are going to be in here for right now. I'd be willing to bet that there is still quite a bit of people there watching the Candace Owens and Andrew Wilson debate. Andrew Wilson, in my opinion, you'll have to watch it for yourself, but Andrew Wilson got completely destroyed by Candace Owens. I didn't really like or listen to Andrew Wilson prior, but I will tell you this, bro. He looks and sounded retarded, bro. I'm just saying. I'm just going to say it exactly how it is, how I see it. Dead ass just looks like a complete retard. But that's just me. Especially when he gets into the where he starts like arguing semantics with her and stuff. They're like fighting over the words that he used. Like, did he use extensive or was the evidence overwhelming? It just gets a little bit weird. Let me see here. What's up, Monica Canada? What's goody in the hoodie? 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 Let me see here, bro. Let me see here, bro. Okay, my mom is actually going to bring and drop off a dessert. Hell yeah, desserts, bro. Deserters. Come on, bring it up for me. All right, so who do we even have up in here right now? If you're here, can you just possibly... If you're here, can you possibly just drop some Team Humans in the chat so I can get a little bit of a head count? A little bit of a head count. Let me see. Let's keep going. That's so weird. Oh yeah, go grab your super awesome Third Eye Bear hoodie. Yeah. Let me see this. Let me close out of this. I'm having some issues pulling up my stuff. I'm having a little bit of freaking issues, bro. I'm having some issues. I need a tissue. Issues with my tissue. Okay. Dang, I really just did all that. Dang, bro, that sucks. Let me see if I can pull this up. I just lost it, bro. It all just disappeared. It all just disappeared. It just disappeared, dude. It just disappeared. Team Human in the house. What's up? What's up? What's up? Dude, my little freaking opening message thing disappeared. Everything I had prepped for today disappeared. Just disappeared. Disappeared. Can you put prrr in there? All right, come on, dude. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Toot it and boot it. What's up? What's good? 3412. What's goody, bro? Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah, bro. Okay, so let me do this. And let me go. Oh my goodness. Goodness gracious. Big Tree Chad, what's good, homie? What's good, bro? What's good, bro? Dang, I lost all of it, bro. Oh, there it is right there. Boom, that's the one I wanted. That's the one I wanted. Ooh, that's the one I wanted. That's the one I wanted. Okay, I got you for about an hour, okay? Heading over to Twitch. Monica says she's coming up over to Twitch. All right. Okay. We're almost there, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is taking just a little bit longer than I had anticipated. If I'm being honest with you, I'm feeling all right. I had someone message me on Discord that was saying some things to me that bothered me. And that was right before I jumped up on here. I'm not really going to discuss what was being said or what was said, but it wasn't. I didn't take it as positive interaction. This person seems like that I have somehow disappointed them. And I have just kind of, in a sense, feel horrible if I'm the type of individual that disappointed them, because that's definitely not the type of energy I ever tried to embody. I don't want to disappoint people. I don't want to make people feel like I'm deceiving you for your money. I don't want to make people feel like I'm hustling you out of money and never sending you merch. I don't want people to feel like I'm telling you to go sub to my Kick channel for a sub only stream and then have the opportunity to take my wife on a date, and then an individual says that they felt like it was deceitful. That's not how I really think or feel. You know what I mean? And it just came out of nowhere from an individual that I guess I didn't expect it to come from. And so it kind of just, you know what I mean? I'm just being honest with you, bro. So like I just want you to know, bro, that I don't ever expect or require you to ever provide Tripoverdrip or my channel with any sort of financial obligation. If you purchase my merch, it's because at the end of the day, you support my cause and my content and me as a content creator. If you sub to my channel, I'm really trying to start working to give it to where the subscribers get like some extra stuff. You know what I mean? Like a sub only chat, like a sub only stream, and someone had their feelings hurt. And I guess at the end of the day, I'm not really bugged by what they said. I'm just more or less, I'm upset at the fact that I have displayed myself in such a manner that makes this individual believe that I'm trying to be deceitful or something, you know? Does that make sense? It's just me. Alfonso, let me go ahead and do this real quick. You're not going to be able, they can't see your Facebook chats. I'm going to drop the YouTube link in the Facebook so you can head over to YouTube. 1 second. Because that's where really everybody is. That's where everybody's at, either YouTube or Twitch. Here's the link to the YouTube. And for You're right. You're right, Monica. You're right. You're right. You're right. So I guess we'll move on. The last thing I say before we move on is if I've ever given off that type of energy to any of you, please reach out and message me, because that's not at all.
I don't remember the exact statistic.
That's not at all what the energy I want to give off. So if I've given you that energy, my channel has original Eminem days. Cheese, that's fire. Thank you, 3412, bro. Okay, yeah, switch to YouTube if you're on Facebook. If you go to YouTube, make sure you put a red, green, and yellow heart up in there. And then if you missed the streams, just remember, after the stream is over, I'm going to delete the stream from YouTube and I will post the stream as an individual video on YouTube. I think that's one of the reasons what's preventing me from getting the 3,000 hours of watch time, is because it's not public viewed or something similar to that. What's up, bro? What's goody? What's goody? What's goody? But are you guys ready to get into today's mindful message? Cheers. What if the reason, though, that you feel so disconnected lately is not because you need to find a new life, a new city, a new partner, a new body, a new job, a new spiritual path, or even a new version of yourself? What if you just need to come back to the life that you're already standing in? If that hits something in you, you can just comment the words, "I'm coming back," because today is not really about escaping who you are. It's actually about returning to yourself before you lose another day trying to become somebody else. Isn't it obvious? There's so much noise right now. Noise telling you that you need more money, more followers, more attention, more proof that you're desirable, more things in your cart, more answers before you move, more certainty before you choose, more validation before you believe that you're worthy. And if you're not careful, you can spend your entire life in pursuit mode. Always reaching, always refreshing, always comparing, always waiting for the next version of your life to finally begin. But look at me, bro. Your life is already happening. Not when you finally heal perfectly, not when someone finally loves you the way that you want, not when the money hits, not when you get the body, not when you stop feeling fear, not when you finally know exactly what to do. Right now. This morning, this afternoon, this evening, in the room that you're sitting in the body that you may have been criticizing, in the ordinary day that you have been calling not enough. Your life is right here, in the present moment. And the reason I'm saying this with so much love is because I know what it feels like to become a stranger in your own life. You wake up. You reach for the phone before you even reach for yourself. You let a feed full of strangers tell you what is beautiful, what is successful, what is urgent, and what is worth wanting. You absorb everybody else's energy before you even ask yourself what your spirit needs, and then you wonder why you fall behind. You wonder why nothing feels real. You wonder why you can be surrounded by content, information, people, notifications, and still feel completely alone. Because overstimulation can make you feel connected while quietly pulling you away from your own presence. And current social trends are moving in both directions at one time. A chaotic, always-on digital environment alongside a growing hunger for authenticity, slower living, and genuine human connection. But that hunger in you is not weakness, bro. It is your spirit remembering that it was not built to only live through a screen. You were built to feel the air, to sit with someone you love without needing to document it, to eat a meal with someone without scrolling through somebody else's highlight reel, to hear your own thoughts before the world tells you what to think. To let a quiet moment be quiet instead of rushing to fill it. That's not boring, bro. That's sacred. Like, really, like sacred. And maybe that is just like the vibe today. It's not go harder. It's not be more productive. It's not reinvent your entire life by Monday. Maybe the vibe today is just come back. Come back to your body. The body that has carried you through every version of your life, even when you spoke to it like it was your enemy. Come back to your breath. The breath that has always been there through every panic, every breakup, every loss, and every night that you thought that you wouldn't make it through. Come back to your relationships, not the ones that you perform online, the ones that require your actual presence. Come back to your voice, not the voice of fear, not the voice of your old wounds, not the voice of every single person who ever doubted you. Your voice, the one underneath all of the noise. Because the truth is, you don't need to escape your life. You need to stop abandoning yourself while you're inside of it. And there is a difference. Escaping will sound like, I need everything around me to change before I can be okay. Returning to yourself, it will sound like, I can meet myself here, even while I'm building something better. If you're escaping, you'll say stuff like, I'll be happy when, ... Returning says there is something in this moment worth being present for. Escaping says my life has not even started yet. But returning, that word returning, it would sound like my life is happening right now and I refuse to miss it. That's real spiritual maturity, bro. Not pretending that your circumstances don't matter, not forcing gratitude when something genuinely hurts, not acting like pain is a low vibration. It's being able to hold two truths at the same time, that this is hard and I'm still here. I want more for my life and I will not hate the life I have while I build it. I am not where I want to be, and I refuse to treat this version of myself like they're unworthy of love. That's the middle path. And the middle path is where most people lose themselves because it's not dramatic enough. It does not give you a viral before and after. It doesn't make a perfect story. It is simply the daily decision for you to not leave you. And stop using distractions as anesthesia. Stop calling overconsumption as self-care. Stop calling burnout as ambition. Stop calling emotional unavailability as independence. Stop calling chaos passion. Stop calling self-abandonment love. You deserve better than your patterns have learned to tolerate, but you will not receive better by consistently treating the present version of yourself as a failure. You will receive better by becoming someone who is finally safe with themselves. That is what the Hermetic laws were trying to show us earlier this week. Your mind is the first world that you live in. So stop making your mind a place where you are consistently under attack. Your outer world mirrors patterns that need your attention. So stop blaming yourself for every difficult thing and start listening to what keeps repeating. Because we all know this. Your emotional state affects your choices. Stop making your whole future mean something because today your nervous system feels overwhelmed. You do not have to leap from pain to perfection. Move 1 degree closer to peace. That's it. And when you do that, you are in rhythm. So stop calling a hard chapter in your life your final identity. You can actually become a conscious cause and stop waiting for someone else to save the part of you that is ready to choose differently. You need balance. You need to stop forcing when it is you're going to receive and stop waiting for when it's time to act. All of it comes back to this. Your life does not need to be your life does not need to be a more impressive version of you. Your life needs to be a more present version of you. The people who love you don't need you to be perfect. They just need you to be here. Your future self does not need you to have all the answers. They just need you to stop abandoning yourself so you'll make that next small step. Your soul doesn't need you to prove to everyone else that you're spiritual. It just needs you to listen when it says slow down. This matters. You matter. Don't leave yourself today. So today, before we go chasing the next thing, let's just do this. Can everybody just put their hand on their heart? Not for aesthetic, not for the content, because you have something that you can feel, and that something is huge. You just remind your body, I am here. And then you ask yourself, what have I been using to escape myself lately? What am I afraid of I will feel if I get quiet? What would it look like to come back into my life just for the rest of today? What is one small thing I can do that makes me feel more alive, not just more distracted? Maybe it's taking a walk with no headphones. Maybe it's actually calling someone you miss. Maybe it's cleaning the corner of your room that has actually been mirroring how much and overwhelmed you are. Maybe it's drinking real water and letting yourself eat a real meal. Maybe it's sitting in the car for 5 minutes before you go inside and just letting yourself breathe. Maybe it's just forgiving yourself for being tired. Maybe it's deciding that you don't need to earn rest this week. Maybe it's just looking in the mirror and saying, I know I've been hard on you, but I'm coming back. Because you don't need another universe to arrive. You just need to show up in this one with your eyes wide open, with your phone down sometimes, with your heart available, with enough courage to stop chasing a life that looks good from the outside and start building one that feels like home on the inside. So let this be your declaration. I'm done running from my own life. I'm done waiting for some future version of me to become worthy of presence. I'm done abandoning myself for the distraction, the validation, and the things that don't even truly feed me. I am here. I am breathing. I am learning, and I am coming back to myself. And if this is something that you needed to hear today, you can always just comment again. I'm coming back, because your life has been waiting for you. Not the perfect you, not the healed everything, figured it all out, never feels fear you, just you who's here right now. And that's enough for miracles to begin. I love you, Team Human. Oh, I know I got all you guys all up in your feels today. That shit was gas, homie. Shit. Let me see them fire emotes, bro, because that shit was fire. I know it. Shit, boy. Shit, Julie P, I want to just apologize personally to you. I seen that you subscribed to my Kick chat yesterday, okay? Like I said, I haven't taken my wife on a date in 4 months, and just spontaneously, my kids were going to sleep over somewhere, and I just knew I needed to have it. But I know that you subbed to my Kick before the Kick sub only stream last night, and I just wanted to apologize that I didn't give enough preparation, or I didn't give enough heads up that I wasn't going to be there last night. We will be the Kick sub only stream. We might just run it back on Sunday. Just because I'm really busy this weekend, but Sunday evening we're probably just going to run that back. You know what I'm saying? We're just going to run that back. Okay? Sunday evening. Let me see if I can maybe see if I can get Queen Trip up in here on a Sunday evening stream. We'll do a sub only Kick stream with Queen Trip on Sunday, just to make up for it. I apologize that I wasn't there last night. How y'all doing today? What's good? What's goody in the hoodie? Dude, do we got a video today, bro? A fucking video today. That's really pretty much Okay, Thursday next week is fine. Okay. Oh man, do we got a video to go over today? This one, it kind of really just highlights a lot of what I was just saying. I don't really, next week we'll get into some more rabbit hole stuff. This week was just, I'm like a freaking caterpillar every couple months, bro, entering my cocoon and sharpening my sword and just trying to become a better version of myself every day. And sometimes those changes take time for it to take hold, and I'm really just trying to really hone in on this. Like, I really want to like provide valuable content, not just me gibbering up here. I'm not saying that that's necessarily what it is, you know what I mean? But I just want to do better. I just want to be better. I just want to live better and love better and talk better and learn better, and you know what I mean? And I just want to provide better. That's it. Whether it's for my kids, whether it's for my followers, whether it's for my friends, my family. Okay, my mom's here real quick to bring me a dessert she made. Bless her heart. I love you, Mom. I don't know if you'll see this. She doesn't really watch a lot of the streams, but we love her. Let me find something we can just slop on here real quick. Let me just bring you up on over here. Okay. I only put that on because I had to go upstairs real quick. But how are y'all? Let's see. All right. See you later, Vox. Who do we got up in here? We got nobody on Facebook. That's tight. Hell yeah. There ain't nobody over here, dude. Let's just get right up into this video. You guys ready for this? Let's go.
How do we know who we are and what our purpose is to fulfill in this world? Well, it's the stories and it's the archetypes that help us. The warrior and the poet, the sword and the rose. And these archetypes, they're guide star. They're the lodestar in the night sky. And so without the balance of these two archetypes, I think that we can get lost. Every experience that you have, if you learn from it, you can choose to be grateful. What if everything that's happening in the present, we know that we're going to be grateful for it. We just don't know why yet. To devote to your art. That which you bring forth will save you, and that which you do not will destroy you.
Ooh, can we just stop real quick and just acknowledge the Gospel of Thomas saying 70? If you bring forth what is within you, what you have will save you. I'm getting chills, like dead ass. Weren't we just talking about this, bro? It's always just been you, bro. It's always been you, and it always will be you. Nobody's coming to save you, only you, bro. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. Can I get some aliens in the chat if that just vibrates with anybody? If you bring forth what is within you, you will have what you will have will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you.
Bringing forth that thing that will not only help serve the world, but will actually save themselves. Being the artist that's painting the masterpiece of their own life, the hero living their own story, commit to the fight. We have a battle. And the battle is with ourselves. Fight the fight that only you can fight. And you're enthusiastic about the fight. That's contagious. That's what allows you to become a leader. That's when you're just filled with that Evander Holyfield enthusiasm, and you wouldn't do anything else, and you wouldn't trade your life for any other life.
I just want to point out that is exactly the point that I am at. And I can only speak for me. I'm so enthusiastic about life that I just want it to be contagious, and so contagious that everyone around me, or everyone that hears me speak, or everybody that takes just a quick second out of their day to just listen to what I have to say, I hope that the love for life, period, that just the word life itself, my life, your life, life in general, I just hope that it's contagious for all of you.
You're gonna get your ass kicked. It's just part of life. The times where we fall, the times where we're crushed and broken, those are the times that actually define the warrior and continue your mission to be the very best person you can possibly be. Our lives are guided by archetypes. It helps us set what Jordan Peterson would call our aim, or what I would call our unique mission. How do we know who we are and what our purpose is to fulfill in this world? Well, it's the stories and it's the archetypes that help us. Now, one of the
Real quick, if you're here, we'll just give this a blanket statement, a blanket question before we move on. Some people never achieve this. Some people are just barely figuring it out. And some people know what this is. But what's your purpose, bro? Why did you choose to incarnate here? If we can accept the fact that you potentially have had multiple past lives and you chose to incarnate on planet Earth at this specific period of time, what is the purpose of it? Why are you here? What did you come here to do? Those are only questions you can answer yourself. Hopefully by the end of today's stream, there will be enough conversation regarding this topic that we can assist in anybody who might not know or have any inclination of why they're here, only in hopes to plant seeds so that you can figure it out. Because like I said, at the end of the day, nobody can do it for you. You're the only person that can figure it out, bro. We can assist, we can talk, we can conversate, we can love, we can cry. But at the end of the day, the journey is yours, and it's only yours.
famous archetypes is king, warrior, magician, lover. And obviously that's tilted towards the masculine, but you could just as easily apply queen, warrior, magician, lover. I would add a fifth, mystic, and I would add a sixth as poet. Now, these archetypes, then, as you look at them through the lens of yourself, you can start to ask, which ones do I want to embody? And from a very early age, two of them emerged, warrior and poet. Now, it doesn't mean that I don't appreciate the archetypes of the king or the lover or the magician or the mystic, but fundamentally, the warrior poet has been the synthesis of two of these opposing, in some ways of looking at it, two of these opposing ideas, a warrior and a poet. We don't often think of them as being able to be embodied in a single person, but of course they are. And some of the great stories have illuminated that. Now, the first story where I actually heard the word was, of course, Braveheart. And if you think of William Wallace, he first just wanted to learn how to wield the sword. He had some revenge that was on his mind because his father was slain by the tyrannical rule of Edward the Longshanks, and he wanted to learn the way of his sword. But the Uncle Argyll, which in the hero's journey represents the meeting of the mentor, he said, first, I'm going to teach you how to use this, your mind. And then I'm going to teach you how to use the sword.
Isn't that just... I just want to make a quick reference to the fact that the very first thing he said was how to use the mind, and then reference the very first Hermetic principle that all is mind, that everything, your whole reality, everything you experience, your perception on anything you can think of, it all starts with you and how you think of it and how you perceive it and how much it controls you, how much it influences you, how much it traumatized you, how much you loop it around in your head. It's all in your mind. And if it's all in your mind, then you do have the ability to think and choose differently. Amen? Can we just all acknowledge that here right and now? If it's all in your mind and your mind is deciding and creating everything you experience, then you, the conscious being inside, have the ability to choose and think differently. It just starts with one shift in perspective.
And so William Wallace goes on his adventure and he learns Latin and he learns French and he learns different languages and battle strategies. And he also learns how to use the sword. And he seemed content to just actually be a lover, even though inside him moved the spirit of the warrior and inside him moved the spirit of the poet. But really, what happened was, of course, for anybody who watched the movie, his lover was slain, and then he had to step fully into the warrior archetype, but never losing the poet archetype, which is the one who deeply feels. So the warrior is the one who's willing to stand for everything that he or she believes and fight for it. It's the willingness to protect those that need protection and to actually stand for the good, the true, and the beautiful. When I was
Okay. So then my next question is, do any of you guys resonate with what he just explained was the warrior archetype?
recently doing a podcast with the samurai Kitano Sensei, he talked about how all of the samurai training was designed for the purpose of protecting. And so even when they're in battle, single combat, they're imagining all of the people that they're protecting behind them. And in the imagining of the people you're protecting behind you, you have so much more power. It's why every battle strategist or tactician knows that it's much harder to take over somebody else's homeland than it is to protect your own homeland. Now, of course, if you have a sufficient army, you're obviously still able to conquer. But nonetheless, people, when they're fighting to protect, there's a different spirit that moves through them. And I would say that that's the spirit of the poet. They feel the love that they have for those that they're protecting, their lovers, their parents, their children, and the ethos of their culture that they're fighting to protect for. So the warrior, once again, is there to actually stand and fight for everything that they believe in. And the symbol of that is, in my mind, the best symbol is the sword. And the poet, now the poet is willing to feel everything, to give them the true motivation to feel not only what's moving within themselves, but also moving and animating their body to stand for value and to feel the whole. You know, why are you fighting? What are you fighting for? And so without the balance of these two archetypes, I think that we can get lost. And I think there's either an overemphasis on the warrior or an overemphasis on the sensitivity of the poet. But when you merge both of those, you get something that's really unique and beautiful, which is why my first 200 episodes of my podcast were the Warrior Poet Project. I was actually coming out saying, like, look, I want to bring all of these things together, the ability to feel and the ability to fight. And this was also echoed in other heroes that I studied. Miyamoto Musashi, dozens and dozens of duels to the death with the sword. One of the greatest swordsmen that ever lived, perhaps the greatest swordsman that ever lived. He was the GOAT. But also he was a writer. He wrote the Book of Five Rings. He was also a calligrapher. And he would spend his time not only training with the sword, but training how to make just the right brushstroke, feeling the essence of the spirit that animates life moving through his brush. And also Socrates, think of Socrates, and everybody thinks, oh, he was a philosopher. And, you know, that idea of philosophy is not exactly the poet, but it's an element of that poetry that actually moved through him, that shifted Western culture. But if you read the accounts of Socrates, he was a fierce warrior. And there's a story of when his beloved friend Alcibiades was in trouble and actually surrounded by the enemy. Socrates broke out of the ranks and, like a fierce lion, was just there to stand in front of Alcibiades to allow him to gather himself and retreat back to safety. So the stories of Socrates' heroism in battle are often lost because what's been emphasized over time is actually what he contributed to the collective zeitgeist through his philosophy. But
can you guys resonate in any capacity with me the fact that probably the most effective warriors, it's not always about being a warrior, that most of the, like, I think that let me say it like this. I think that for divine masculine, the man who enters, he does need the divine feminine. I will specify that. In order for any being to become divine, they have to embody both aspects of divinity, their masculine and their feminine energy. All humans have it. I think that in a warrior type person, that the masculine to protect is what makes them divine, always if they have the opposite, which is the person who loves. There's something magical that happens when The reason the individual is the warrior is because of how much they love. And they're not a warrior to harm, they're a warrior to protect. I think that's a very specific aspect of this that needs to be separated from violence. Because when he's like talking about this warrior, and obviously he's talking about his heroism, or Socrates, or the Chinese swordsman he was talking about, a lot of this warrior aspect is already stigmatized with violence. Someone can be a warrior and only ever become the warrior to protect the things they love. They could be an efficient warrior, a master swordsman, very easily able to take out their enemy. But it's all in the energy that they embrace when they take on these archetypes. Sure, the warrior archetype could be bloodthirsty and violent and aggressive, but that means that he probably doesn't have the other aspect of divinity, which is him also embodying and embracing the divine feminine aspects of that individual. Yay, nay, poop emojis if I'm full of shit, alien emojis if we're just out of this world, bro.
He was a warrior poet, and I think many of the great thinkers and many of the great leaders that we have embody both of these elements, the ability to feel and the ability to fight. So
he said it, the ability to feel and the ability to fight. I think that exactly how he said it. Do you think that there's a lot of humans on planet Earth that have the ability to actually feel and the actual ability to fight? We're not talking about hurting people. That's what I'm talking about. Fighting for what you believe in, fighting for what you love, fighting to protect your thoughts, your beliefs, your family, your friends, your community. I'm not talking about going out and just maliciously hurting people. I'd love to hear your comments.
Distilled this down into 5 essential tenets. And in this first solo cast, which is actually a chapter in my new upcoming book, You versus Anti-You, which will be out in 2025. It's a whole chapter, but we're going to take just the first 3 tenets of the 5 of the warrior poet ethos. So the first 3 tenets of the warrior poet ethos. Number 1, choose to be grateful. Number 2, devote to your art. And number 3, commit to the fight. Now, in a subsequent podcast, we're going to talk about the
Let's run that back.
Cast, which is actually a chapter in my new upcoming book, You versus. It's the first 3 tenets of the 5 of the warrior poet ethos. So the first 3 tenets of the warrior poet ethos. Number 1, choose to be grateful. Number 2, devote to your art. And number 3, commit to the fight.
All right, I want to bring you guys in close for this one. Do you notice the words he used? What was the very first one? He said, choose to be grateful. When is gratitude ever not a choice? Like breathing and our heart beating for us automatically without us really having to think about it. I don't think that gratitude is actually a feeling that you feel without making the conscious choice to be grateful. I don't think it's an automatic feeling. Do you? So it spoke volumes to me that 1, it was the first one, but 2, that he said, choose to be grateful. How powerful is that? Ultimately, it is your choice. You can always sit and compare yourself to other people. You can always think about the negative aspects of situation. You can always just think that the worst things are going to happen or this season is never going to end. But on the flip side, you can also choose to take an inventory of your experience and acknowledge things that you are thankful that you have. And if you can just do that one thing moves mountains. I'm telling you, bro. And then obviously all of the other stuff. What are your thoughts? Did you hear that first off, or did you not catch it and you understand it now? That I would like to hear. Did you notice he said choose? Did it ring something in you that the first one just so happened to be gratitude? We've talked about gratitude a multiple of times up over here on Tripoverdrip. So gratitude is your superpower. I'm just going to point that out.
Now, in a subsequent podcast, we're going to talk about the last two tenets, which are deeply rich and also important, which is celebrate your victories and grieve your losses. And finally, the fifth tenet, keep your word to yourself. But in this podcast, we're just going to be talking about the first three. And again, the first one of these, choose to be grateful. Now, gratitude is something that we can just naturally feel. It's a naturally occurring phenomenon. But when you add the act of choice, your own will to choose to be grateful, that's where the real power lies. And this is actually one of the famous rants from Jocko Willink, where he was talking about all of the shitty things that were happening. Like this bad thing happened, and he says, good. This other bad thing happened, he says, good. This next bad thing happened, good. What is he doing there? He's choosing to be grateful, not only for the good things that naturally instill gratitude, like, wow, I did this scratch off lotto ticket and I won the jackpot. Wow, I'm grateful. Of course that's going to happen. But choosing to be grateful means not to just choose to be grateful for those good things that happen, but to choose to be grateful for the bad things that happen. Because when you choose to be grateful for those, when you know yourself as somebody that has grown and responded to those challenges, that's what actually facilitates our greatest growth and our greatest potential. It's the struggles, it's the challenges, it's the losses that define who we are. They're the diamond grindstone that sharpens the sword of our soul.
Oh, dang, bro. I got to keep bringing you guys up in close. This really resonates a lot with me. And I'm going to explain why. If you've had similar situations and you resonate with any of what I'm about to say, only if you feel compelled to, if there's the urge inside of you, please comment what it is in your experience. In 2021, my daughter passed away. Her name was Marley. Her name is Marley. She's actually the reason why I even have dreadlocks. But it's taken a while to get there. And I remember the exact moment that this shift in perspective actually happened and I started bawling, bro. That if I look back on the last 5 years of my life, on my journey and my healing and where I was in different versions of myself in different time periods and how I was thinking and how I thought and how I felt and how I acted and the type of parent that I was, the type of husband that I was, the type of friend, brother, human, etc. It's went in ebbs and flows because life isn't always an upward slope. I've excelled at some things and I fucking fell short for a lot of stuff. But there became a time, like I said, I was alone in my house, in my car, driving home, when I just had this overwhelming feeling of gratitude, actually, for the passing of my daughter. That you wouldn't see me today if that situation didn't happen. That was one of the biggest thought perspective shifting situations of my entire life. It was traumatic. It makes me sad. But with the thought of the fact that that one situation really forced me to understand how fragile life is, and the next following series of events that happened for me internally, I guess I couldn't say that I wouldn't have wanted those changes to happen. I came to the realization on how fragile life is. And once I got to the point where I was no longer consumed with Marley, I then was able to analyze myself and my life. And really, what if I could not be here tomorrow? And if I wasn't here tomorrow, what would I be remembered as? Would I even be remembered? Would people even show up to some sort of celebration of life? And if they did show up, what would they say? What are my kids going to remember? Are they going to remember me just always yelling at them and they're always in trouble? Or are they going to remember what my laugh sounds like? And what I look like when I smile? And how I love them? And then that translated even to outside of my parental stuff and to the stuff to my wife and just me. It just then bled into influencing on me as an actual human. Like, am I kind to strangers? Would I help someone in need? You might be already able to answer those questions specifically when I'm saying, would I help someone in need every single time? And it was like that beforehand. I was just using those words to make it applicable to other maybe seeds that are planted inside of your mind right now that might all of a sudden have this premonition or this aha moment while we're speaking. Yes, I'm tremendously sad about my daughter. But my life changed for the better. I really started taking care of my physical, spiritual, mental, and emotional health far more than I ever did my whole life. And it was that moment that it happened. And I'm explaining this to you because when I was driving in the car and I just came this I can only explain it as like this spiritual affirmation from the heavens that Marley was talking to me. And she allowed me to heal from that. She allowed me to come to the understanding that it's okay to be sad, but it's also okay to see that there was tremendous change that happened inside of my life for the positive. I'm a better human today. And I can exactly pinpoint when the transition happened. Because that was also simultaneously while I was dealing with a hiatal hernia inside of my diaphragm, thinking that I was dying every day. Thinking I was going to have a heart attack at any second. For like a year straight before I was able to get answers. So the choice of gratitude is immensely important. I could very easily allowed the loss of my daughter to destroy me. I could have very easily allowed the loss of my daughter to prevent me from ever caring anymore about anything. In fact, it actually did the exact opposite. It grew me. It built me. It strengthened me. It gave me resilience. It gave me a purpose. It gave me a reason and a rhyme for all the things that you see me do today, or hear me do, or hear me say. So it's really just about your actual conscious choice on how you perceive the energy, the emotion, and the situation. And if I can do stuff like this, anybody can, bro. If I can overcome something like this, anybody can. That's not even on top of the drug addiction that I went through, the fucking in and out of incarceration, the sexual abuse I had as a child. All of these things are supposed to provide statistics to prove that someone like me that gets a large platform on the internet will stand here and tell you, I made it through this. I made it here. I don't know where this road leads, but I've made it here, and I statistically wasn't supposed to. So there's a reason why I'm here. It's unavoidable to me. There's a reason why I'm here. And I hope that through the many, many months that you have been watching or that you continue to watch, I just hope that what I say and do and talk about helps you to figure out the reason why you're here. Because there is a reason. If you didn't think that there was a reason why you were here, you probably wouldn't be listening to me talk. Just saying. If you resonate, can we get some hearts in the chat? Let's get back over to this.
And it's a choice to be grateful. So one of the things I say about a psychedelic medicine journey, and for those of you who follow me know that I've been deep in this path for 25 years, I say there's no such thing as a bad trip. That's something that you would have to choose to say was a bad trip, because every experience that you have, if you learn from it, if you grow from it, you can choose to be grateful. So it's the ultimate process of alchemy, turning lead into gold. And really, if we look back at our own lives,
Because at the end of the day, being able to find things that I'm grateful for from a traumatic experience literally is alchemy. It's turning the lead, the heavy, dense substance, into gold. Bars.
with perfect hindsight, we can say, yeah, I'm grateful for everything. And now there's some things that are hard, and there's some things we wish didn't happen, and we can't change that. But what we can change is our attitude toward those, even the hardest things that you can imagine. And there are some things that it's really difficult to imagine how to do that. I remember when Bobby Kennedy, who's suffered so much tragedy in his life, he was asking his mother, how do you deal with this much pain? How do you deal with this much loss? And what her answer is that instead you feel all the pain like the poet, but you enlarge your heart. You allow your heart to expand and enlarge as your response, so that you don't shrink from the pain, you actually grow from the pain. And I think there's deep wisdom in that. You know, I remember when my cousin...
Homie is dropping bars. There is a tremendous amount of deep wisdom in that. You allow the pain to actually grow your heart and not shrink it. Sheesh. Cold chills, homie.
And Eric was killed by a drunk driver in a car crash. It was one of the hardest things I'd ever experienced. I was a teenager, and I just pulled over to the side of the road when I heard, and I just wept and wept and wept. How do I choose to be grateful for that? Well, it's difficult. But what I can do, and what I have done, is choose to embody the spirit that he actually transmitted to me, and live with him in my own actions and in my own life, and also bring awareness to the dangers of doing something like drunk driving, right? It's just like you can learn these lessons and actually make anything, even though I would never want that to happen, it did happen. And so I can apply gratitude to be able to unlock the growth that's possible. So it's a choice, not about saying, I hate the saying that everything happens for a reason. I actually don't necessarily know that I agree with that. Now, maybe that's true, but to me, it's only true if you give it a reason. Everything happens for a reason when you give it a reason. And the start of giving it a reason is the choice to be grateful. The choice to say, this happened to me. I'm not a victim. I'm going to use this to actually propel me forward to the greatest potential that's available to me.
And that's literally what I did, bro. That's literally what I did. Is I allowed that experience to push me to become the greatest possible me I could ever imagine. Every single day. It's not easy being aware, bro. It's not easy analyzing every choice you make to try and figure out the core root of all of it. Is it because of love? Is it because of child trauma? Is it because of the negative self-talk? Is it because you are trying to deceive them to sub to your Kick account? Like, you know? It's not an easy road. And if no one's told you today, just for being human, and I know you're going through the same road that I'm going through of awareness mostly of yourself, of your choices, how you act, what you eat, what you do, the way you talk. It's not hard. It's not an easy road, bro. And I just want to tell you, I'm proud of you, bro. Because you're still here, just like me. Human as can be, and never going to stop fighting.
And that's the choice to be grateful. So again, looking back at our whole lives, most of these things, even the hardest ones, we can say like, yeah, I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that. So that's hindsight. In hindsight, you can say like, yeah, I'm grateful that this thing happened with my partner. I'm grateful that I failed in this business. I'm grateful that this thing happened. So that's hindsight. But what if we have hindsight as foresight? What if everything that's happening in the present, we know that we're going to be grateful for it? We just don't know why yet. I remember that.
Dang. That's some bars, bro. I just have to stop again and sorry. If you just get to where you're consistently perceiving everything as something that you can be grateful for, there's just like this baseline gratitude that happens. Imagine what that does to your entire experience in the present moment. Like if the thinking negatively or perceiving situations negatively as they happen is eliminated, imagine how much negativity goes away and is replaced with love and acceptance and gratitude and understanding. You know? Maybe I'm just looking too much into it.
When I got in my car accident, when I was like 38, it was...
What's up, Victoria? Victoria's up in the house. What's good? Thank you for being here. Oh, just to let you know, let's see here. We've been going live for about an hour and 11 minutes, actually. It was 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 1 second when I looked at the clock to tell you how long we've been live. Take that as a sign, 111. But at the end of this live, I will be going for about 30 minutes. So we'll go for about another hour for everyone. And then in about 30 minutes, it will then only cut to a kick only. It's just like a little stream decompress that I've started doing. And I actually think I enjoy it a lot, actually. So I will drop the kick link in all of the chats. Just know that at the end of the last bit of the stream will be on kick only. I hope to see you there. Be there or be square. And if you know about that saying, the reason it's be there or be square, because if you're not there, you won't be around. Crazy. But yeah, I just dropped a kick link in all the chats, except for obviously the people that are in kick. Kick link. Pin it. Let's go. Pin that shit, boy. We'll go 50 minutes. Pin it to the top of this one. Pin it. You might want to, just come up over onto the kick stream. If you do come over to the kick stream from any one of the chats, please can you just drop a red, green, and a yellow heart? One of the things I need to do to move levels as a content creator on Kick is I need 100 unique individuals to comment in a 30-day period. I'm at like 70, so I need like 30 more people who have never been on Kick to just comment something. That's why I say come over and drop a red, yellow, and a green heart. What's up, Becky? Becky. What's up? What's up? 3412? What's up, Victory Higgins? Julia Brand, she's back in Mexico. I just have to let you know, Julia Brand is a legend over here. Dude, she's been following me and supporting me for like 2 years now. She just actually bought a whole ton of merch, like 5 shirts, 2 bags, and then she took them on her vacation and then gave them as gifts to her family, bro. And I just wanted to say straight out to you, I love you. Thank you for that. That's amazing. I could have never, it just feels good to know that like, fuck, there's Tripoverdrip stickers and Tripoverdrip shirts all over the world. We got one all the way in New Zealand. Becky bought a shirt. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, homie? Tripoverdrip.shop if you want to get any merch.
2018, and I got in this car crash that I had no idea how it happened. I just lost consciousness, middle of the day, no substances. This was no fault of my own, but for whatever reason, I just had a blink out of consciousness and I accelerated into a guardrail, and the twisted steel of the guardrail cut through my car and split my face open. I still can't feel this side of my face. Killed one of my teeth. I got a black tooth. I got a nose that looks like the hunchback of Nostradamus. I got all kinds of things that happened from that experience. And I remember waking up and coming to with the jaws of life cutting open my car, and then I came back again to consciousness.
Real quick, Julia, I just want to show you. This is I didn't anticipate these purple Tripoverdrip shirts to come out so sick. It just looks so sick, bro. I got to bring you full screen, bro. Bro, that's sick, bro. Got the alien on the front. You know what I'm saying? Little alien on the front. Super dope, bro. They're super dope. Tripoverdrip.shop. There is a limited amount of these. I think there's only like 3 left of these and maybe 2 left of the bears. Get yours today. Tripoverdrip.shop.
When I was in the hospital room, and I just had this overwhelming sense that whatever happened, it happened for me and not to me. And so I chose to be grateful for it. Now, it took me
What's up, Victoria? Victoria Higgins came over to kick. What's up, dude? Make sure you hit the follow button. And there is like a bell on some of these that if you want to get notified every time I go live, make sure you hit the bell. I know some people said they don't get notified. I think that's what will fix it. I don't know if Kick has a bell. I know YouTube does, but yeah.
Many years to actually understand why I was grateful for that, because I still, every time I shave my face, I feel the tingles. Every time I go and look in the mirror, I see the damage that I've taken. But my choice to be grateful was to really listen to what that showed me about life. One, the fragility of life, bringing death close, which is another lesson of these great warrior cultures. Like, this could be our final moment. This could be the last time we get to say, I love you to anybody that we love. It could be the last time that we see our parents. It could be the last time that we see our friends. So to live in that perpetual state of actually settling your affairs and being in the love and gratitude of our own lives is so important. It's really what Crazy Horse was saying when he said, Nake nula waum, I'm ready for whatever's next. It's this today is a good day to die attitude, which means I don't wish for death, but actually if it was to come, then all of my affairs are settled. So my car accident was able to instill that deeper understanding that I want to live my life in a way that if today is my last day, Nake nula waum, I'm ready for whatever's next. Because
oh man, I'll just be honest, bro. It probably would take, it just takes so much work to actually physically and energetically really actually be at this frequency. But how much power do you think that you would reclaim about yourself and your own life if you actually resonated in the energy of what he just said? That even if it ends today, I'm ready for the next phase. Because energy can never be destroyed. It can only be transformed, right? There's a reason why when you die, your body weight drops 21 grams in weight, because there's like some energy inside of you that goes somewhere else. And that's not even on top of the layer that if you've ever recreationally experienced through breath work or the illegal substance of dimethyltryptamine, and you know that your mind is what created that, but then you also know that at the end of your existence, your brain actually gets a mass dump of DMT right before you die. It's almost obvious that there's something else after this. What is it that you believe? Do you believe there is something else? Do you believe there is not? Do you believe that there are 3 kingdoms of heaven, like the celestial, telestial, and terrestrial kingdoms, like the Mormons do? Do you believe it's like some far-off heavenly paradise? Do you believe that this is actually hell on earth? Do you believe that there is potentially heaven and hell, or actually just energetic states that you embody in the present moment? What is after this? Is it just like the video game Roy from Rick and Morty? You just like unplug and you're like, oh, and all your homies are there fucking hitting some alien freaking interdimensional weed. Dude, you were out for a while, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like what is it? Tell me what's up. What do you believe? Is there something afterwards? I know there's something afterwards. And only you can really radically accept that, whether there is or there isn't. What if your mind is so powerful and the all is mind that if you genuinely believe your entire life that there is nothing, your next phase will feel like nothing? What if you're because the mind is all, if you genuinely believe your religious pretext about heaven or hell, that will be what you experience after you move on to the next phase? Because your mind is all powerful and everything is your mind. So whatever you consciously absorb into your life on a consistent basis, potentially atheists who really actually believe that there is nothing and there is no God, when they die, they experience nothing and no God. But the people who do believe in something and God, or a God, or multiple gods, they experience something completely different, because that's what they allowed themselves to convince was the next phase. I would love to hear your comments on that thought process.
Said all the I love yous. I've contributed the best that I can to the world. And even though I've made so many mistakes, I've given the best and highest to the highest that's available, to the highest potential of my own soul and to the highest potential of the world at large. So choosing to be grateful is one of the most powerful acts that a warrior poet can actually employ. And that's why it's tenet number one, because you cannot be both a victim and a master at the same time. And if you're a victim, which means that things are happening to you and you're not grateful for them, then you're a victim. But victim actually disempowers you. It makes you impotent. And your power as a victim comes from the powerlessness that you claim as a victim. But if you want to harness your own personal power, then you have to say, I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that. Just like Jocko Willink. Good, good, good. And that attitude will then drive you forward through whatever challenges you have in life and actually give your life a deeper meaning and a deeper purpose that unlocks. And again, it doesn't mean that you wish it happened the same way, but it did happen. So now what are you going to do about it? And that's where the choice to become grateful is so important. The second tenet of the warrior poet ethos is...
Okay, before we move on, I just need everybody in the comments, please. It helps with the algorithm. Just comment grateful. Gratitude is God. Gratitude is good. Gratitude is necessary. Something along the lines of something about gratitude. You could also just even comment something you're grateful for, so we can experience right now in real time together the exact things he was talking about. Is the perspective, the perspective or the shift into acknowledging things that are already good. I say this all the time and I'll say it again. I'm grateful for you for being here now. If you're watching this later, if you only ever watch the stuff on my social media platforms, I'm tremendously grateful for you. I'm grateful that my wife goes and works her ass off at a job in the Matrix while I have the ability to grow, to build this. I'm tremendously grateful for that. I'm tremendously grateful for the fact that even at times when I lose my patience and might raise my voice to my kids, I'm so grateful that they come back later and give me a hug and tell me they love me. I'm just so grateful all the time.
Is to devote to your art. And in the Gospel of Thomas, verse 70, Thomas is basically saying, that which you bring forth will save you, and that which you do not will destroy you. And I've applied this to the warrior poet ethos to mean your art. Your art is the expression of your irreducible uniqueness in a way that people can actually get a lens into what's moving through you. Now, many of us might not think that we're an artist, but of course we are. We're an artist every time we get dressed in the morning. We're decorating ourselves, the costume of this identity that we have. So your art could be how you look, how you appear. The art could be how you speak. Or you could be a musician or a painter or a poet or a singer or a dancer. But we're always committing acts of art. And when we really look at that and devote to the art that we're offering the world, it's something incredibly powerful. Art is a gift. And the beauty of that gift is not only what you create, but who you are. And this is a principle that comes from the Toltec philosophy that was transmitted to Carlos Castaneda from Don Juan. And what they were talking about.
Real quick, I just want to take this opportunity. I'm pretty sure yes, I am correct. Have you ever seen these? These humongous monolithic facial structures. What's up, Queen Trip? Queen Trip's up in the house. What's up, girl? We're actually looking at the Toltecs. No, these are the Olmecs. My bad. Olmec. These are Olmec. I thought he was saying Olmec. Just me, some weird file I pulled out of my fucking brain thinking that, but I was incorrect. He said Toltec. These are the Olmec heads. Nope. Stonehead. Toltec. I was correct. These are in Mexico. These humongous freaking heads, bro. Like, look at these things. There's a guardrail right there. This is supposed to stop a grown man from climbing over it, right? Crazy. Olmec, Toltec. Toltecs. The culture he's speaking about made these. They're everywhere, bro. Olmec, colossal heads, Toltec, Olmec. Is it Olmec or is it Toltec? There says both on these things.
Is that there's two different types of people, and Don Miguel Ruiz talks about this as well. There are the tonal, which is the ordinary, transmitted to Carlos Castaneda from Don Juan. And what they were talking about is that there's two different types of people, and Don Miguel Ruiz talks about this as well.
Do you know who Don Miguel Ruiz is? He wrote the Four Agreements, pretty sure. Who is the author of the Four Agreements?
The author of the Four Agreements is Don Miguel Ruiz.
Yep, I was correct. You should read that book. If you've never read the Four Agreements, you should read the Four Agreements.
Oh, there are the tonal, which is the ordinary folk, and then there's the Nagual, which is the master who paints the masterpiece of their own life. So the difference in their mind is that there's an individual who does not bring forth that which will save them, does not bring forth their art, and in the not bringing forth their art, there's something that will eat them alive. And so all of the people who haven't shared their song, shared their poetry, shared their art, or living the truest potential of who they are, they're not bringing forth that thing that will not only help serve the world, but will actually save themselves. So all of these hard things that I talked about to be grateful for, one of the ways that you can process them and be grateful for them is if you turn them to art. Like the hardest, most challenging relationship scenarios have brought out my most beautiful poetry, as well as the most incredible ecstatic experiences. Both of these things have brought out my best art. And so that's another way to be grateful.
Real quick, I just wanted to ask y'all guys, do any of you guys create art? Art in the traditional sense, like do you paint? Do you draw? Do you crochet? Do you bake? Because that is also art. Do you write? Poetry? Do you create content? Do you play an instrument? Do you like to sing? Do you garden? Because all of those things, in a sense, can all be, you can embody this energy of the artist, right? I like to paint. I like to create content. I love to sing. I don't know. There's been a few times in my life that said that I have a voice that's similar to a mix of Jesus and Fergie. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I haven't played for a long time, but I played the guitar for many years of my life. People liked woodwork. Some people make music like with the computer. Like, what is it that you do? I'm just curious. Like, do you create art? Because if you are a type of person that creates art in the traditional sense of what you might categorize or familiarize as the definition of art, you probably resonate with what he is saying completely when it comes to the fact of like some of the most sad and low times have produced some of the most prized possessions when it comes to art. Aliens in the chat, if you agree.
And actually alchemize the heavy, dense, difficult things in your life as you pour them into your art. And you see that in all of the great music, all of the great poetry, all of the great stories. There's this immense energy that's released when you actually turn your own personal struggles into art. And you see it with comics as well. Oftentimes their comedy comes from encountering, like a poet, the real difficulties that they've experienced in their life, and their art is comedy. So they're able to actually transmute that and alchemize that into laughter that they can share with the rest of the world. And this is the path of the artist. And this requires the poet who really allows themselves to feel everything that needs to be felt. Feel it all the way to the depth. Like, don't just feel the surface structure of what you're feeling and mask it with alcohol or painkillers or something to numb the pain. No, really feel the pain and the struggle and the challenge, or really feel the beauty and the love and the eros that you're feeling. So,
bro, I feel so much. Are you one of those people? It's okay if you're not. That's not how everybody is. Some people have learned to survive in a different manner, but who out there just like is a feeler, bro? I'm a feeler, bro. I feel it all, dude. I really feel the sad. I really feel the glad. I feel the bad and the amazing. And I think maybe for me specifically, maybe why I feel it so much is because I think about it so much. For me specifically, like I'm just like, I think I'm autistic actually, but I just hyper fixate on things and really just obsess over them. Especially if it's something that causes an intense emotion. You know? I'm really just one of those people that like just get stuck, bro. I just get stuck sometimes. Hell yeah, you've been playing the ukulele? Hell yeah. What's up, Loke Superstar? I don't think you've ever come up in here before. What's up, Loke Superstar? Just know that in YouTube there is a link that's pinned to the top of your chat. It's to my kick. In about 30 minutes, that's the only place that I'm going to continue the stream. Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook will all be closed out. But just giving you a heads up that you need to head over to Kick if you want to hang out for the last like 30 minutes or so.
really feel it and then turn that feeling into art. Apply it to something that you can share with the world. And that could just be the expression of yourself in total, you know, being a living masterpiece, being the artist that's painting the masterpiece of their own life, the hero living their own story. Or it could be some tangible pieces of art. And I believe that all of us have the potential to do more than just live our own life as the canvas in which we're painting the art and the masterpiece of our own life, but also to create art. And so I really encourage everybody to find some artistic expression that suits them. It could be on the drums. I used to think that I had absolutely no musical ability, and still, to be honest, I have very little musical ability. But when I first got my first Native American flute and started to play it, it was terrible. But I started to get a little bit better at it, and it started to be finally at least somewhat pleasant when I would play it for other people. And so while I'll never be a great musician, transferring that emotion that was moving through me into even playing the flute or the harmonica or even a little drum beat on the drums, it makes a difference. You know, I feel more alive. So this is not only a practice of what you're giving the world, it's something that'll save yourself. It's something that will actually allow you to be the hero of your story. And
Jeez. He actually just said something that really hit me straight in my gut. He said, feel more alive. If you create anything, do you feel like he just explained like the feeling of creating? Because that's what really is happening, right? Like it's, for me, I think it's undeniable that while you're in your creative mindset, while you are actively performing the acts of creating something, if you can't explain it any other way than feeling alive, like actually alive, like in the present moment, like where God lives in the present moment, not in the future that you loop, not in the future that you stress over or the past that you loop around in your head. It's like the feeling of being alive. It's Zen. You're right. And then if you really think about the fact when we're talking about dimensions and you think about maybe that your thoughts are in a different dimension than this third dimension, and you are able to think about something consistently enough and then literally become a portal to turn that thought into something, into this 3D realm. There's some power in that, bro. Like really think about what you do when someone created this cup. Okay. This cup right here, I brought it here from a different dimension. Now, granted, I didn't make this actual Stanley cup, but the cup in whole with my logo on it and doing all of the stuff to make it like this, it did at one point reside in a different dimension where my thoughts are at. And I was able to think about those thoughts for long enough to literally manifest it into the 3D dimension. Crazy, huh? You better create something today.
allow you a reason to be grateful. The moment you start turning your hardships into art, the hardships have a purpose. They have a reason. And part of that purpose is that they can be helpful for other people. It's one of the reasons why I always share my most difficult stories, because in the sharing of my most difficult stories, that helps me become, again, back to tenet number one, grateful for what happened, because I'm grateful for the art that I'm sharing, because I'm grateful that I'm able to share something that will help other people.
Damn, Aubrey, you just freaking took the words out of my mouth. You're absolutely right. That's why I tell my hardships, my traumatic experiences, is because it allows me to be grateful for them every single time I talk about them. The sexual abuse, the physical abuse as a child, the traumatic experiences in my addiction, the death of my daughter, my own mental health issues. Every time I talk about it, it allows me to be grateful that I've moved on and I've healed from those things. And it allows me to prove and provide evidence to you that I'm an authentic, real human, that hopefully me sharing it helps you in any capacity that it possibly can help you. Because I've said this before, at the end of the day, all of this is to help you. Simultaneously while helping me. Simultaneously while healing me. Simultaneously while I'm healing myself through this experience of trying to help you. It helps me, which then helps my children, which then helps my animals, which then helps my wife, which then helps my community, which then helps me to come here and provide value. I'm just a human. I've been in physical hell. I made it out. I have no idea what I'm doing, bro. I just get in front of a camera and talk. That's it. And the only reason I'm even in the position that I am and the content that I create is that I just have made the decision every single day for the last 6 years to get up, record myself talking, and post it. That's it. You could do it too. I'm just being honest with you. You could find anything that you love, something you could talk about for hours, break it down into separate topics, record yourself talking about something you love, and just post it. That's it. That's all it takes. I love you guys.
So for me, poetry has been the main thrust of my art. Of course, podcasting, and there's other forms of my art. But poetry has been one of my favorite forms. And for me, that's a way that I can tap into the deepest emotions, or even imagine the emotions of other people, feel the collective, suffering of women, or suffering of people who've been under the influence of darker forces and energies, which again, my book, You versus Anti-You, talks about these internal forces of resistance. And Stephen,
I just want to give you guys forewarning so you know that it's coming in just a minute, any minute now. My kids went to sleep over somewhere last night. They are returning home any minute now. So when that does happen, I will then resort back to the little commercial video I picked on YouTube of Ben Shapiro talking about Tucker Carlson talking about Ben Shapiro. I will put that on only for a few minutes while I go and I guess do the handoff of them bringing my children back, and then I'll be back down. Just giving you a heads up that that's going to happen here soon.
And Pressfield talks about this a lot in his book, The War of Art. What he talks about in The War of Art is that there's a force that he calls resistance with a capital R, and this force is always trying to prevent you from releasing your art, creating your art. So if this force called resistance is resisting you from creating your art, and in my distillation of this force, which I've gotten from Paul Levy's work on Wetiko, my own psychonautic journeys, the great wisdom traditions, the Kabbalist idea of Sitra Achra, there's a force that's pulling against our actualization. And one of the vectors that this force that I call anti-you is working the hardest to prevent you from doing, it's creating your art. Because in creating your art, as the Gospel of Thomas says, that which you bring forth will save you. It will save you from those darker forces and actually allow you to be the person that you were always destined to be. So to devote to your art is both the warrior who has the courage to have people say, oh, your art sucks, oh, cringe, oh, whatever all of those things are. That's just their anti-you moving through them, projecting it onto you because they're scared to release their own art. They're scared to be vulnerable enough to feel what needs to be felt, transmute it, and share it. They'd rather be a victim, and they'd rather be in that consciousness where they're not grateful, and they'd rather keep everybody else in that same position. No real artist ever looks at another artist and tries to tear them down. Never, never. So all of the people that might try to tear you down when you devote to your art, they're not artists. They're not Naguals. And they're...
Dude, that's some bars, Aubrey. Because a lot of us, when we do create art, unfortunately, the way that our human programming is that it's inevitable for a lot of people to be fearful and or insecure about what other people might perceive their art as. Do you remember when we were all like little kids and we would have like an art project that we would have to do at school, or everybody would be drawing a picture, and you never really worried about what anyone else would think, and you would just create this authentically you little tiny barn with a cow, or it's a family. You drew like stick figures and stuff, It's literally your perception of what other people will think was probably the biggest influence on why kids stop drawing. they stop coloring. You know? Narwhals. Narwhals. What's up? 86 this shit. What's up? I've never seen you up in here before. 86 this shit. Hello. What's up? I love you. Thank you for being here. Just know that in about 30 minutes from now, maybe 40 minutes, depending. Let's see here. We got about 20 total minutes left of this video. We will be going to Kick only. The Kick link is pinned to the top of your chat. Same with you, Katie Fretton. The Kick link is pinned to the top of the Facebook chat. So in about 30 minutes, we will be going only to Kick. Just giving you a heads up. But I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. It always excites me when new people show up that I never heard, I never seen them comment before. It makes me excited. I like new people. We all like new people. Can we just spam all the chats with as many hearts as you can for the next 30 seconds to let everyone know we love new people? Team Human is about growth. We're all trying to just grow and grow and grow. Oh, Bays. Hell yeah. Yeah, shout out Real Bays. I hope he has me on soon. Again, just solo me this time so we can actually talk. Because in that situation, bro, it was the first time I'd ever even done anything like that. Sure, I had like a little stream with Kevin before. You know what I mean? But I never been like in an actual 4-hour long conversation with other individuals like that. And at the end of it, I realized, dang, bro, I should have talked more. I should have gave myself, it was my time to shine. You know what I'm saying? But I was just also respectful and just went with the flow of the conversation. I was like actually present for the whole conversation, like genuinely listening to understand, not listening to respond. Does that make sense? I don't know who else saw that. Who else saw the Kevin is a Human, Real Bays, and Tripoverdrip pod? But that's maybe why I feel like I didn't speak enough. But it's also like divine timing, and maybe the mysticism behind how much I didn't speak is what was needed to intrigue people to click on my channel and listen to me talk. I don't know. But I hope he has me on again. I had a lot of fun. I really liked that. It was pretty tight.
Just the externalized voices of our own internal resistance. So devoting to your art is one of the key principles of the warrior poet ethos and is tenet number 2. Tenet number 3, commit to the fight. We have a battle, and
real quick, I enter both energies. I'm good at commitment, and I'm also bad at certain commitments. And a lot of the commitments that I'm not good at have to do with me personally. I'm still to this day struggling and getting into the gym 3 times a week. I'm going to be honest. Do you struggle with commitment? Have you committed to the good fight? Like, that's only a question that you can answer. Are you committed to the good fight? And I hope with the art that I create, this content stuff, the fact that you can see that I'm grateful. I hope that you can also see that I'm committed. I'm committed to the fight. Is it the fight to stop child trafficking? Yeah. Is it the fight to bring more awareness to Jeffrey Epstein? Yeah. Is it the fight to just be authentic and that in itself will inspire people? Yeah. But it's also to help people remember how powerful they are, how divine they are, how unique they are to every single 8.2 billion other humans. And that there is a reason why you chose to incarnate right now. That there is a divine essence to all of reality. And maybe what we perceive as God is actually just your higher self. But they don't want to admit that you have a higher self, so they've used these systems to convince you that it's something outside of yourself. Maybe it is some sky daddy. I don't fucking know. But can't you see that the fact that humans across the planet are spiritually disconnected from whatever they label and categorize under this word spiritual? We're disconnected from it. We're disconnected from nature. We're disconnected from our friends and family. We're disconnected from life itself because we're all been programmed to sit inside of a box and slave away for somebody else. And then just consume ourselves just by looking at these screens all the time that are chemically creating combustion of compounds inside of our brain to make us addicted to this, to make it so that we don't ever feel any sort of serotonin or dopamine in our day-to-day lives unless we're staring at this screen that's triggering the serotonin and the dopamine all the time.
Battle is with ourselves. If you want to find the devil, you can go look right in the mirror. There's that force of anti-you, there's that force of resistance, and we all know it. If there wasn't that force of resistance, then we would always be doing what we know we should do. We would always stick to our diets instead of 90% of people, rescinding their New Year's Eve commitments. And by like February, everybody would just make a New Year's Eve declaration. This is what I'm going to do this year. And they would just do it. But we don't. Why? Well, in my mind, it's because there is this force of resistance that's pulling against us. And so we have to commit to that fight to overcome those forces of resistance within. And so really what I'm talking about here is not fighting externally. Now, there may be things that we need to fight for externally, and that's part of the warrior, to protect, yourself and those you love against these forces. But really the fight is an internal fight. And that's what I mean when I say commit to the fight. It naturally breaks caffeine down into, and it's called paraxanthine. And then I found that ingredient and I said, having more active and how this work we're doing shit is never. It's tenet.
Sorry, but I wasn't going to run his ad.
I have an acronym that I use, and the acronym is NEVER, NEVER. And these are the 5 components of what it looks like to commit to the fight against that internal force of resistance, that force of anti-you. So the first one is non-compliance, right? So when that voice comes in your head and it starts telling you you're a piece of shit and telling you all of the terrible things, just think for a moment about all of the worst things that you've told yourself, right? Like all of the degrading things, all of the ways that you've beat yourself up. All of those things are the force of anti-you. They're not helping you. We may think that they're helping us. And internal family systems, they may call that a protector part or what.
Can we just take an opportunity for everyone in here to show a little bit of vulnerability to bravery inspires bravery. And a lot of people probably don't want to even admit this, but I suffer from negative self-talk a lot. I'm hoping that you can comment something to inform everybody else that's watching that you're the same. You struggle from negative self-talk too. Because not only us acknowledging that we struggle with negative self-talk will inspire the individual to acknowledge that they have negative self-talk, but just that simple acknowledgement in real time that you struggle with negative self-talk is just the perspective shift, that 1 degree to make it so you have the ability to change it. Because if you never acknowledge in real time to yourself and to other people that you struggle with negative self-talk, there's never going to be the opportunity for you to even shift your perspective on your experience.
Whatever it is, but I see something even deeper. I see this universal force of resistance that's resisting us, as Stephen Pressfield says, anytime we're going from a lower place to a higher place. So the first thing is non-compliance. And that's summed up very well, again, by Jesus saying to Satan, "Get thee behind me, Satan." In other words, not today, Satan. Not today, anti-you. Non-compliance. Do not go along with those forces that are compelling you to slip deeper into your addictions, to scroll on Instagram when you know you have work to do, to not talk to that person who you know you need to talk to. Do not comply with those forces of resistance. Don't comply with the forces that are saying, oh, you shouldn't release your art because you might get some hate from it. Non-compliance with that force of resistance I call anti-you is the first step. And that requires a certain level of awareness. You have to understand what I call your potential is, and then what your anti-you, the anti-potential, and the contest that you're in between those two forces. And just say, I will not comply with those negative voices in my head. I will not comply with the inner critic. I will not allow myself to slip into this decline. So the first of the acronyms, N, non-compliance. The next is energy. One of the wisest things that Maestro Hamilton's...
Bam, 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 bam. I'm back. I'm back. Who is still here? Who's still here? I'm sorry. It took me a little bit longer than I thought. I thought they were going to be here actually just a little bit sooner than they were. That's why I stopped. I was trying to not be gone for as long as be back as quick as possible. All right, let's get back up over here. We got about 13 more minutes before we are only going to be on Kick. If you want to come over to the Kick, just know that you need to click the link that's pinned to the top of your chat. It will bring you over to the Kick where you'll be able to hang out for the last 30 to 45 minutes.
Shared with me, and he was talking about it in the context of psychedelic journeys, but also in life. He said, energy levels matter. It's so much easier to be defeated if you don't have energy. And one of the great sayings that I learned from my boxing coach,
Go away,
and
please.
also I think is a quote from potentially Vince Lombardi, is fatigue makes cowards of us all.
No, not in the
Fatigue
living room. You can go
makes
to your
cowards
room
of us all. So the warrior poet needs courage, right? So courage is the antidote to fear. But fatigue, not having enough energy, makes cowards of us all. So if we understand that, then we have to support our energetic systems. And that's not just physical energy, that's also psychic and mental and spiritual energy. We have...
Whoa. We just have to clarify if he's going to say that. Does any of us, are you like me, that believe that there is psychic energy? We can't let him say that without acknowledging together if you believe there's psychic energy. I believe there's psychic energy. I believe that there's full-on telepathic, telekinesis, remote viewing, clairvoyance. I believe in all of that shit. So just got to point out.
To have the energy to confront the resistance that we're inevitably going to face. So taking care of your energy is absolutely vital. And that goes down to everything I talked about in my first book, Own the Day, Own Your Life. It's really about collecting that vital life force energy. So the first thing you do when you wake up, you get sunlight on your skin and in your eyes, you get movement, you hydrate with enough. I use the morning mineral cocktail of,
Real quick though. He did also just a second ago. You don't, Katie Fretton. She said, I've never paid to watch anyone. You don't have to pay anything to come over to Kick. That's not a paid app. There's not even any advertisements. Whereas like if you went to Twitch or YouTube and you don't have YouTube Premium, they would try to show you ads. Kick doesn't even do that. Kick has no ads at all. Just letting you know. But he said, what did he say?
You get sunlight on you.
Right there. He said, How many of us, I'm just asking, how many of us remember that it is so important? So how can you? You just click the link that's pinned to the top of the chat. It should be, let me just pin it again. I'm going to unpin it and then I'll pin it again. Click the link that's pinned to the top of the chat. All you got to do is hit the link and then just go over and download the app and set up an account. But yeah, I'll send it right here again. Let me get it. Let me get it for you. Where's the link? Let me put it in there because for some reason Facebook doesn't want to show it. There it is. All you got to do is download it, head over there. We'll be turning off all streams except for Kick in roughly about 15 minutes.
Skin and in your eyes, you get movement, you hydrate with enough. I use the morning.
Oh yeah, duh. That's what I wanted to ask. How many of you struggle with waking up and looking right at your phone or a device versus waking up and going immediately outside and getting sunlight? There's real magic in there. You ever heard of the circadian rhythm? That your sleep cycles and your quality of sleep literally depend on you getting rays from the sun from the early morning and in the evening. Why do you think humans for all of time, not even the fact that they're beautiful, but why we've been just so immensely attracted to sunrises and sunsets is always because there's actual light that we need from those periods of time that help with our circadian rhythm. So our bodies are running functionally to be able to sleep good and get good rest, you know? Or maybe I'm just talking shit. I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe not. What do you believe?
Mineral cocktail of, water and sea salt and lemon, or sometimes ketones, which is a particular type of seawater, but this hydration drink. Get yourself hydrated first, get some light, get some movement. All right, that's going to start you on the energetic process. Then when you go to your shower, take a cold shower, not a hot shower. At least do the cold part first and actually wake yourself up, give yourself energy. And one of the great benefits of cold therapy is it'll actually train your mitochondria, which are the little energy power sources in your body. It's actually like a workout for your mitochondria, because as you're warming up, your mitochondria have to heat to actually push heat back into your body. So it's a workout for your mitochondria. So while you may be using some energy to get in to the cold plunge, just like you use energy when you work out in the gym, you're going to end up with a surplus because you're going to have more energy later. And a lot of times,
real quick, who here has information about cold plunging? Dang, I'm just feeling like this divine calling right now that I need to fill up my cold plunge with cold water and ice and make a video for everybody to see. Because cold plunging, you know about Wim Hof? I mean, I don't know how much you guys know, or the people who are watching the stream probably have heard me talk about it, maybe done their own research, but I'm not sure about people who see this later. So if you don't know about the cold plunge or cold exposure or Wim Hof, I just recommend that you do some research on it and then at least try it, bro. Red light therapy as well. Bro, what about my wife got this vibration plate, bro? It's like 10 minutes a day. Just stand on the vibrating plate and it like helps like shake you up, if that makes sense. It helps with muscles, your ligaments, your tendons. For some reason, I think that fucking the vibration plate helps me poo, because like it's pushing the food along in my digestive tract. You know what I mean? If you think it helps you poo, can we get poo emojis? I don't know why I just felt like saying poo so many times.
spiritual energy just requires rest. Like, you got to allow yourself a place, whether it's your meditation or whether it's taking a nap. Another thing I talk about in Own the Day is the benefit and virtue of taking these 30-minute power naps. sometimes with binaural beats or however you do it, but replenishing your spiritual energy, and then also ending those cycles that are depleting your energy, which goes back to non-compliance. If you're not complying with that voice that's beating you up, or that voice that's slipping more into fear, and you don't comply with that, you're going to have more energetic resources to fight the fight that only you can fight. And that's the internal battle to become the best version of yourself.
Bars. It's the non-compliance, bro. It's the non-compliance of the anti-you. So then you have more control and sovereignty over your own energy. You know? What are you doing to replenish your spiritual energy? He talked a lot about your physical energy with like sunlight and water and movement and cold exposure. But what do you do to replenish your spiritual energy? That's a tough one sometimes. Like, to be honest, like hanging out with my kids helps replenish my spiritual energy. You know? There's just something magical about kids that just like lifts my spirits, fills my cup, you could say.
So the second of the acronym, E, energy. V.
Okay, like we did last time. The first one is non-compliance. The second one is energy. Let's affirm this and make it real by typing energy so you won't forget this acronym.
Vigilance. So this
Non-compliance, energy, and vigilance.
goes back to a level of awareness again, which is part of non-compliance, because you have to be vigilant about what is actually happening and aware. But there's also a deeper principle here for vigilance that I want to talk about. One of the things from the Kybalion, which is the...
Wait, what? The Kybalion? I don't know. We talked about it on Wednesday. It's kind of cool. Just saying. It's kind of cool that he's bringing it up right now, as we talked about this on Wednesday. The Hermetic principles, the Kybalion. Yeah.
The distillation of the 7 Hermetic principles that govern the universe is the principle of rhythm. And in the principle of rhythm, what they're saying is that when you reach a high, there's going to be a corresponding low. Everything moves in the universe like a sine wave. And a sine wave has its peaks and it has its valleys. And so understanding that, what the Kybalion says, the Hermetic wisdom that was distilled for thousands of years and emerged in a book right at the turn of the 20th century.
It was written by the 3 initiates in 1908, the Kybalion. You should read it if you haven't. Sorry, we were muted. Let me go back. Thank you, Monica, for letting me know. Sometimes I pull a Baron Coleman. I apologize.
Distilled for thousands of years and emerged in a book right at the turn of the 20th century, is saying that being aware of this natural rhythm, if you have a high moment, if you have a big moment, be vigilant that anti-you and the universe, moving through anti-you, is going to come at you and try to take you down to a deeper low. So that vigilance and awareness of the principle of rhythm, what the Kybalion says, is you actually place your identity into the state of pure awareness, so that what's happening to you, you're not allowing it to actually take you on that ride. So after a big high, you almost retreat to a sanctuary of awareness, so that whatever happens, you're ready for it, number one, you're vigilant, and then you've actually identified and put yourself in that place where, like, okay, I see what's happening here. I'm going to be grateful for all of this. This is normal. This is usual.
Okay, just to make sure. Everybody has sound? Just asking, does everybody have sound? Scruffmeister, you got sound? Monica has sound. Just making sure. Scruffmeister said, volume, please. So I just wanted to make sure everybody can hear.
And we're on our way. So vigilance is not only being aware of these antagonistic forces that live within us that I call anti-you, but also being aware of the principle of rhythm. So if you have a great ecstatic moment, just keep a lookout. It doesn't mean you don't enjoy the ecstatic moment. Live it fully. It doesn't mean you don't go for a high moment. Of course, we want that. And the poet actually says, like, I want the highs and I want the lows because I'm grateful for all of it. And I want the maximum human experience that's possible.
Amen. I want the maximum human experience possible. For me specifically, I have to take into consideration what he said, that I have to experience the lows as much as possible, meaning that I just have to feel the feelings. You just got to feel them. And if you've become a wizard, and you've learned how to transmute the negative into positive, and you use alchemy to turn the lead into gold, then that's when you're able to see the beauty in all of existence and all of experiment. You know? The whole experience becomes beautiful. It becomes a dance that you have to learn the dance as you go.
But within that, there's a level of vigilance so you don't get taken out. The next one, again, we're using the acronym NEVER. So the next one is another E, and that one's enthusiasm. So the etymology of enthusiasm is actually bringing forth the divine within. Theo is thus, so that's the God within. So it's like this divine energy that moves through you, where you're actually merged with the field of eros and aliveness and joy and just pure awe and wonder in the ability that we have to live such a beautiful life in this beautiful planet. So enthusiasm is a key thing to the fight, because if you're fighting, you're like, oh, I can't believe I got to do this. I can't believe that I have to, work this hard, or I can't believe I have to. Then you're back in that victim mentality and you're not enthusiastic about what you do. So enthusiasm is, again, a skill, not just an experience that you have. It's something that you can train. And one of the paths that I think is helpful to getting towards enthusiasm comes from Eckhart Tolle in his book, A New Earth. And what he talks about is the first step is acceptance. So you get to acceptance, like I accept what I have to do. I accept the fight. So the first thing you do is you accept. And that's level one. And we're building towards enthusiasm. Acceptance. Level two, enjoyment. Like, all right, motherfucker. All right. Like, we're in a fight. Let's go. And you start to actually enjoy the fight. It's
all right, motherfucker. Just like he said, let's go.
Self, right? You enjoy, like, I enjoy this. I enjoy. Embrace the grind. Embrace the struggle. That's one of the things that Daniel Cormier was talking about. Like, embrace the grind. Like, enjoy the grind. Enjoy the struggle. And the last one is enthusiasm. And that's when you're just filled with that Evander Holyfield enthusiasm. Like, you're out there doing the thing that you're born to do, and you wouldn't do anything else, and you wouldn't trade your life for any other life. And when you get to that point as a warrior poet, where you're enthusiastic about the fight, again, this is all under the umbrella of Tenet 3, commit to the fight. When you're enthusiastic about the fight, that's contagious. That's what allows you to become a leader, because enthusiasm is the most contagious thing on the planet. If you're enthusiastically playing a game, other people will be enthusiastic about the game. If you're not, if you're just kind of phoning it in, then everybody else will phone it in too. And you see this in any kind of recreational sport you're playing, but those are just little models that model the bigger fights that we have in life. So practicing, cultivating that spirit of enthusiasm is a key principle to committing to the fight and also the warrior poet ethos. Finally, R, resilience.
Okay, so we said now we've got them all. It's non-compliance, energy, vigilance, enthusiasm, and resistance or resilience. I apologize for that. Resilience. Never comply, energy, vigilance, enthusiasm, and resilience.
Gonna get your ass kicked. And also the warrior poet ethos. Finally, R, resilience. You're gonna get your ass kicked. It's just part of life. Nobody gets through unscathed. Now, of course, there are those rare few fighters and individuals whose record is undefeated till the day they retire, that Floyd Mayweather record. But it doesn't mean that he hasn't got his ass kicked in many other ways. Doesn't mean that he hasn't had to be resilient. Doesn't mean he hasn't had to overcome injuries. All of these practices of resilience is really about like cowboy up. Get back on the horse. You get thrown, get back up. You know, however many times you get knocked down, you get right back up one more time. Every time you get your heart broken, you say, okay, I got my heart broken, but I'm going to love again. I'm going to step back in. I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to allow myself to love one more time again, one more time again, as many times as it takes. So no matter what the universe throws at you, the resilience to say, I can withstand this blow and I can step back and become greater and more and stronger because of it. And I'm going to come back better. And everybody who's had anything difficult come at them, they build this energy of resilience, which is necessary for the fight, because you're not going to win any battle. And if you did, you wouldn't eventually be as good as you needed to be, because it's actually the times where we fall, the times where we're crushed and broken. Those are the times that actually define the warrior.
Woo! I'll tell you what, I've fallen a lot. He's just speaking so much truth. Like, it is the resilience. And as he was sitting there talking about like the love aspect of resilience, heartbreak after heartbreak after heartbreak, and just choosing to just love again and just love again and just love again, I think that's like one of the biggest ones that we as humans struggle with, is the loving again. I think a lot of people, after being hurt so much, become cold and off-putting and maybe abrasive, which I can't say is a wrong reaction. I don't and haven't resonated in their experience or their emotions. But I just think that there is something magical, bro, about the way he's explaining this resilience. And it's just like he said, it's time to cowboy up. Just get right back up on the horse. Because that's inevitably how someone who rides horses learns, right? Is they fall off over and over and over and over and over again, and they just keep getting back up until the falling off happens less frequently. But it still happens. Interesting.
You can't see any hero's tale where they don't get their ass kicked at some point. It's part of our hero's journey. And the resilience is the willingness to step back in fully into your warrior poet so that you can continue the fight and continue your mission to be the very best person that you can possibly be. So this covers the
best person that you could possibly be. That's really what I'm trying to do every day, is just be better than yesterday, be the best person I could possibly be. Be more honest with myself and others. Be more compassionate and understanding with myself and others. Work hard at things that I know I need to work hard at. Give myself grace when it's time to give myself grace. Allow myself to rest without feeling guilty, because that one's a big one for me. That one's a big one. All right, guys, check it out. We're heading over to Kick. And slowly but surely, all of these things are going to start disappearing. Like Facebook's the first one to go. Love you, Facebook. See you on Monday. And then we're going with Twitch. I love you, Twitch. I'll see you guys on Monday. And then we're going for YouTube. YouTube. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. Come over to Kick. I'll be live for about another 30 to 45 minutes with just the people on Kick. Hope to see you there. I'm going to give you to the count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye!